I want you to know as much as the President knows, and I want you to have that assurance, that confidence, and I want you to have that participation, because when I get run out of Vietnam, or when I get in a war with China, or if I got another stalemate for a year, they're going to be Republican boys shot just like Democrats, and they don't know the difference. They're all patriots, and so I want everybody's decision to get it. And I'm perfectly willing and anxious to admit, just like I know you would be if you wound up here in the morning by faith like I did, to know that I don't know all the answers.
Well, Mr. President, let me say this without any hesitation or qualification, and I only pick this out as a point. Your statement in the State of the Union message on our commitment to South Vietnam, I wholeheartedly and unequivocally stand by, and you can have my assurance in this regard now and in the future. And but I do think that it's important that I and others on our side be kept up to date as well as we can. Now, that doesn't mean Bob McNamara has to be over here once a week telling us what's going on.
But I'm like Vandenberg. I want in on the takeoffs as well as the landings. Now, Eisenhower did that with me, and I followed exactly the policy that you've announced you're going to follow. I said to him, Mr. President, when I can't agree with you, I'll come tell you. I'll disagree with you with dignity and decency, and I won't talk about your dog or your boy, but I'll try to offer an alternative, and then I'll try to bloody your nose.
Well, this is the way we hope to proceed, and I would hope that we can, from now in the future, have as good a relationship as we've had in the past.
Well, we can, and I'm going to insist on it as far as I'm concerned. And I never had a quarrelsome word with Eisenhower for 6 years. Now, a good many times we differed.
Sure. Well, you can be assured, Mr. President, that what I've said about supporting you to the hilt when we, in our judgment, think you're right, and I think there will be many occasions where that will be true. And when we oppose, it'll be on the issue and not on the personality or anything else.
But to the point of why Ford, you also see that in the conversation. 2 words that Johnson says, dignity and decency. And that's the core of why Ford is selected. And it's personal, but it's also political. The personal is that Nixon and Ford have been friends for a quarter century, going back to their early days in the House of Representatives. They were both Navy veterans coming out of the war. They shared a deep love of football. Ford as a successful player, Nixon as a very successful fan, less so as a player. They also had broad shared views on foreign policy. And the affinity was strong enough that Nixon had actually considered choosing Gerry Ford as his vice presidential nominee in 1960. So in a sense, what Johnson's foreseeing here is entirely something that's reasonable, that Gerry Ford could one day ascend to the White House.